Here comes Mother's Day, and Father's Day isn't far away. Welcome back to What's Next, Living Longer, Better, Smarter. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with Mary Furlong. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Fred. It's one of the high holidays for me, and I love it. And I'm really excited about the great lineup of guests we have with us today.
Yeah, it should be interesting and a lot of fun. Our topic, Mother's Day Gifts with Meaning. First, this message from our sponsor, Vivid Pics. With Mother's Day coming up and Father's Day fast approaching, we want to remind you how Vivid Pics Restore can make family holidays more meaningful. Vivid Pics Restore is designed to make restoring old photographs and documents simple. Really just click and fix. It works with PCs and Macs. You'll be amazed, and so will Mom and Dad. At under $50, it's a great investment, and you can even try it for free at vivid-pics.com. And while you're there, check out the new Memory Station scanning solution bundled with Restore. The site again is vivid-pics.com. Mary, the National Retail Federation is forecasting that Mother's Day spending this year will reach a record high of $31.7 billion, up more than $3.5 billion from last year. The head of the Federation says consumers are eager to find memorable ways to honor their mothers and other important women in their lives.
And many mothers and grandmothers are older adults. So we have a great lineup of Mother's Day gifts with meaning and fun.
Absolutely. Well, from Intuition Robotics, maker of LEQ, CEO and co-founder Dor Skuler. Hi, Dor.
Hi, Fred. Hi, Mary. Thanks for having me on.
From Ageless Innovation, maker of Joy for All electronic companion pets, co-founder and CEO Ted Fisher. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Fred. How are you? Mary, and so great to be here with Dor and Henry, and thanks for having me.
And from Posit Science, maker of BrainHQ, neuroscientist and CEO Dr. Henry Mahncke. Hi, Henry.
Hey, thanks for having us on today.
I feel very privileged to have time with you today on this topic because I've watched your companies grow through the years, and I know how much effort and diligence has gone into the products and the solution and how they've been accepted. So, Dor, you've spent a long time developing LEQ, and you've done a lot of testing, and now it's launching. So tell us more about LEQ and its entrance into the market.
Sure. So LEQ is a social companion that lives with older adults and frankly becomes their friend, roommate, companion. Our goal is to help people age at home, stay independent, healthier, and happier. And it did take years. It takes years to create a product that can actually live with someone, project empathy, and be with them on their journey in life, and then try to help them in the different areas that we aspire to do so, whether it's their wellness and prevention, whether it's their health, whether it's connectivity to their family, whether it's overcoming the digital divide, whether it's addressing basic needs like food delivery or rides, and to just like create an upbeat atmosphere at home and help them learn new things and be connected to what's going on. So yeah, we've done a lot of testing, as you said. Prior to launching this last March, this is LEQ behind me, by the way. We spent about 3 years in beta with hundreds of people. LEQ lived over 80,000 days at the homes of people. And when we felt ready, we launched just a few weeks ago in March. And we've seen people use the product 20 times a day is our average. Our top percentiles are significantly more than that for 20 minutes a day. They share everything that's going on with their lives with the product and rely on her for many different things. So it's a big moment for us.
And of course, you have very impressive investors behind the company. But what are you hearing from your customers, and what are they saying? Which parts of LEQ are they most engaged with?
Yeah, so keep in mind, this product is built for people that live alone and spend the majority of their time at home. Those are the people we help the most. And the main thing that they relate to is firstly, this sense of a presence there, this entity that asks them good morning and does it in context of what happened yesterday and asks them what they're planning to do today and shares with them what's going on in the world and kind of gives them this anchor of companionship. That's the first one. And the second one we're seeing is that people are relying on LEQ to help motivate them. to get out of the home, to do physical exercise, to take better care of themselves, to learn new things. When you're by yourself a lot, it's really hard to keep motivated, even sometimes to cook a good meal and not just to heat something up in the microwave. So those are the main two things we're seeing: this companionship, caring, acknowledgement aspect, and motivation to use LEQ's activities and suggestions to be more active and to take better care of yourself. And then anecdotally, jokes. People love the sense of humor of the character, which is LEQ. They keep referencing every time I talk to a customer, they talk about the jokes. So there's that as well.
Did you have to hire some writers?
We do. In addition to many scientists and algorithm experts, and of course coders, we have a full studio team that are creating the character, creating the content, and also the multimodality of the product. LEQ has movement and body language and lights and a screen and speech. But yeah, one of our writers actually won the Cannes Film Festival for one of his scripts. We have an extremely creative, multidisciplinary team. So it's definitely a lot of fun to go into the office.
I have to tell you, one time I visited the Motion Picture TV Fund in Calabasas, and there was a swimming pool and a water aerobics class, and everyone in it were old comedy writers. So you might want to get in touch with that group.
Yeah, but we got to keep LEQ out of the water, that's for sure. It's a lot of technology and innovation going on there. We're going to learn more in a bit, and we're going to learn about a very different kind of robot companion. But next, let's turn to an app that moms of any age will appreciate, dads too. BrainHQ from Posit Science. Henry, a lot of people are playing games like Wordle out there, trying to stay sharp. What you've done with BrainHQ, though, is very different. Give us the overview. There's a lot of science here.
Yeah, absolutely. BrainHQ is a brain training program, and it's built on the very real science of neuroplasticity, which is to say how everything that you do, everything that you learn can rewire your brain. And, we spun out of a lab at the University of California, San Francisco, where we had worked for decades on this idea. And in fact, when the company was founded, my mentor came to me and he said, "Hey, Henry, we've helped a lot of rats get better brains. We've helped a lot of monkeys get better brains. Don't you think it's time to help people get some better brains?" And so the exercises in BrainHQ were designed to improve, basic cognitive functions, things like speed, attention, and memory, aspects of our brain function that we use every day in all kinds of situations when we're out and about in the world, and improve those in very real, measurable, and scientifically validated ways. And that's quite a bit different than brain games. You mentioned Wordle, and Wordle's very fun. I play Wordle with my wife and my daughter. We all compare our scores at the end of the day and so forth. But Wordle isn't really designed to rewire your brain and improve your cognitive function. You're definitely kind of thinking of new words as you do Wordle, but mostly what happens when you get better at Wordle is you get some better strategies. For example, my wife gave me some very good starting words, so now I can do just fine at Wordle. That's very nice, but that doesn't rewire your brain and make your brain faster and sharper the way that a brain training program like BrainHQ does. And of course, it's a wonderful thought for Mother's Day. As we think about all of our moms, really at any age, we all want to keep everyone in our family healthy and safe and sharp. And we're really now at a point, I think, in thinking about the brain where we recognize that maintaining and improving brain health is just as important as maintaining and improving physical health. And in fact, that's exactly what BrainHQ is designed to do, is to provide a tool for you or your mom, or both of you, as the case may be, to exercise, train, and improve your brain, just the way you might think of exercising, training, and improving your physical fitness.
That's a great way to put it, Henry. I think of a lot of people we know have parents are in their 90s to 100, but the boomers will be 76 at the top end this year.
Yep.
And 76 to 86, you do see a decline in cognitive fitness. And so anything that can make a difference there is important.
Yeah, that is exactly right. I think all of us are aware of the many incredible medical breakthroughs that have led our lives to be longer than they used to be. And that is wonderful. That is science progress. Nothing quite like that. But at the same time, I think many of us have a worry that, hey, our bodies might last longer, but how about our brains? Are our brains going to go the distance? And whether it's ourselves, like you're saying, maybe we're entering our 50s or 60s or 70s, or whether it's our moms or even our dads, who are entering a couple decades older than that. We used to think that the brain just kind of wore out over time, that it was like an old car. And, once it wore out past a certain time, there wasn't much you could do about it. And, Mary, nobody thinks that anymore. We all recognize that the brain is constantly reorganizing and rebuilding itself in response to what we ask it to do. And if what we ask our brain to do is to sit on the couch and watch a lot of I Love Lucy reruns, well, we're going to get a brain that's kind of slow and flabby and, doesn't really stay healthy over time. On the other hand, if what we ask our brain to do is to stay fast and stay accurate and constantly engage in new learning, well, we're going to have a brain that has a much bigger chance of going the distance. And what we did in BrainHQ is kind of build that idea of staying sharp and fast and accurate, into an app that anyone can use. But, as we think about Mother's Day, there's all kinds of things that we can all do in our day-to-day life with our moms to engage in new learning and be brain healthy. So
you've put a lot of science and peer-reviewed studies behind this. And we see advertised every night on TV, during the news and elsewhere, that a lot of people want to take a pill. They're being told you can take a pill to solve these issues. Can you compare what you know about the effectiveness of something like what you have and a pill?
Yeah, there really isn't. The big difference is exactly as you put it. It's the science. So there's actually more than 200 studies that have now, 200 publications now from leading scientists from around the country and around the world, specifically using BrainHQ exercises and showing that they work, showing that they help people think faster, focus better, and remember more, and showing that those effects are useful in real world activities in all kinds of ways. And, I see those same ads that you do. My mom sees those same ads that you do, and she calls me up and asks about them. And, that science is not even close to there for those pills that are out there. Some of those pills simply have no science behind them whatsoever, because as you know, you can market something as a supplement without really having any science behind it. Some of those pills have one study and it's a terrible study. So it's there's really just an enormous gap. And frankly, I think that the regulatory authorities, in the US here, I think they should be taking a very careful look at that. This has come up in the House and the Senate from time to time. Are these companies exploiting folks who are looking for a quick fix? And should we be, holding them to a higher standard around showing that what they have really works? So I'm very proud of the science that we and our collaborators from all over the country and all over the world have done at BrainHQ, because we just took a very different approach. We wanted to build something scientifically sensible on the principles of brain plasticity, and then actually show that it worked. One of the first studies that was done was a wonderful study done at Mayo Clinic in the University of Southern California by, leading researchers in the fields of brain health and cognitive aging. And, we put our exercises in their hands and said, run the trial and then come, let's take a look at the data, which, is exactly how science should be done. And of course, what they showed is that this brain training, worked in this very real world setting. And, I think that's what all of us deserve if we're going to spend time and money and effort on working on our brains. And it's certainly what our hardworking and long-suffering mothers deserve. It's a program that has actually been shown to work.
And now, Fred, we want to turn to Ted and the fun and wonderful approach that Ageless Innovation has taken with its line of robotic pets and also with a new product. Ted, we love what you're doing. It's been wonderful to follow you. Tell us more.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. So we are super excited to be here. I love both the products that the folks that I'm on this panel have created, and I've been lucky enough to be kind of watching both organizations grow over time. And thanks to you, actually, the great connector, right? So I think Dor and I were on a panel about 5 years ago together. So it's been a while, and the folks at BrainHQ, I've been on many panels and been the source or sent the butt of some of the jokes of Henry's partner. So we'll leave it at that. Ageless Innovation, we focus on really one major differentiator, and that's the power of play. And what we believe unequivocally is that play isn't just a nice to have; it's actually a basic human need, and it's something that we've now been in the business for 7 or 8 years in the older adult space. Almost every older adult that I've spoken to, if you ask them, what they want, it's more fun, joy, and play in their life. And culturally, I think, I've talked about it a lot, is I think, we work hard our entire life to get to the point where we have these golden years where we can play and have more fun and joy. But culturally, we kind of say, you're too old for that. Well, we couldn't disagree more. And, we're now celebrating, I think, the 7th anniversary of our launch of our companion pets. In June, we'll hit 500,000 units adopted, so we couldn't be more proud. Coinciding with that will be the launch of our newest product, which was invented by a 93-year-old entrepreneur named Rita Maloney, who I'm going to speak with tomorrow. Can't wait to see her. I haven't seen her in a couple months. But she was a wonderful person who for 90 years didn't need a walker, and all of a sudden finding herself, forgetting it, and everyone getting mad at her. So she said, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if I had this little, this bird that sat on my walker and helped me remember it?" I'll show it to you in a couple of minutes. But we're thinking about the same principles that my fellow speakers are looking at. It's really how to help older adults get the most out of life, enjoy it, build some social connections, some meaningful connections. We found that our products really bridge difficult gaps with loved ones and caregivers and folks who really are trying to be part of the life of older adults and help them and support them in being independent livers or live where they want to. I think when we set out to do this, what we couldn't have anticipated is the impact that we've had. And, similarly, we now have over a dozen sort of published, peer-reviewed, all of it independently funded, which was, folks that were, anecdotal believers in what we were doing, seeing sort of the anecdotal evidence, and then clinicians and academics who decided they wanted to dig in and see if, so in the areas of dementia and Alzheimer's, as well as loneliness and isolation, we have, about a dozen published research papers now that proving the benefits of our products. And, I'd love to tell you 7 years ago at Hasbro, when we launched this thing, that was really, the grand plan, but I wasn't that smart. So, but I think we were smart enough to lean into what we saw happening out there. And one of the things that, I'm happy to give a little Walker Squawker demo, but one of the things that I'm not sure that you're aware of is that in the last year, we launched 2 new games based on sort of reminiscence therapy. So this one's called Past and Present Pairs. It's a typical matching game, cards, where you turn things over, but there's 3 or 4 different ways to play it depending on cognitive sort of ability. And so the phone, if the card is the phone, one is the iPhone, and the other is a rotary dial phone, which I grew up with, just for the record. But it would be those type of pairs. So creating these meaningful discussions between intergenerational players where, an older adult can tell them a little bit historically about, yeah, that was the phone we had in my house. Actually, before that, we had a patch plug, that kind of thing. So, and then the second game is called Lifetime Lineup. Which is more of a chronology-based game with beautiful illustrations and then date. And then you insert yourself into the game by creating your own cards. And then it's sort of there's again 3 or 4 different ways to play, in the chronology. And so, this idea of creating spaces for people to have fun and play. I say it all the time. I'm not medically trained, Henry. I apologize, but what I've noticed is that when people are happy, they feel better. So that's without a degree. I came up with that all on my own. But it's just one of those things. And I think all of these products do that, right? I think I've watched the demo of LEQ, and I've seen older adults get super excited about the interaction. I've actually been on the BrainHQ site myself and see that it's amazing stuff. And I think the common thread here is that we're helping people enjoy life, right? We're helping people be more healthy and get together. So I feel pretty privileged to be doing that.
And what I know, my aunt was a big fan and named her robotic kitten and dog. Tell us what you hear from the customers and their families. I
think, amazingly, we take reviews and testimonials, good, bad, and different. We take them very seriously here. We spend time every week going through them. Everybody brings their favorite 1 or 2, and even ones that aren't as, might be help where we can improve things as well. And I think what never gets old is just hearing people say how there was this void in their life, whether it was they can't have a pet any longer, whether their residential situation changed and therefore they couldn't or their current health or age just preclude them from having a pet, and then having them tell us that this actually just Governor DeSantis just sent me a note because of a big program in the state of Florida, a letter that he got from one of the recipients of the program that they do there through the secretary, Michelle Branham, who's absolutely fantastic, who replaced Richard Pridham, as you know. And the letter was just saying how this pet has completely changed their life, how they were lonely, disconnected, and this pet has brought joy and fun back into their life. And it's become a talking point between them and others that they weren't talking to, how it serves as this bridge because now people are interested in her because she now has this pet, which is a really, it's a wonderful thing when you think about it. So I think that what we hear all the time, especially during the pandemic, the epidemic of loneliness and isolation, which existed before, but then got amplified. What we hear all the time is how it's just completely changed people's ability to sort of cope and deal and feel optimistic and all the things that you'd hope for, building meaningful interactions with others as well.
Some of the technology is great, Ted, too. You've got sensors in here that can react to touch and sound. So there really is interaction between the owner and these wonderful pets.
Yeah, that was the whole premise was sort of this give and take relationship. There were a lot of inanimates out there that have been used in places like memory care units and those things, dolls and other things that had been used, as sort of thing. But we wanted to build something where you gave something and you got something back. So whether it's touch or sound or light, as you're interacting with the pet, you get something back. And it could be a rollover, a bark, a meow, a purr, what you're used to from a pet. And the walker squawker similarly responds to sound and to touch and to light and to movement.
We're going to talk more about that in a second. These electronic pets that we're talking about don't talk. They can purr or bark, cuddle. LEQ from Intuition Robotics, it's going to set the one off behind me, doesn't cuddle, but she does talk, has conversations, gets to know you. Dor, give us more of a sense of the technology and the real value that it can bring.
Yeah, so there are a lot of differences between LEQ and smart assistants like Google or Alexa that we had to develop and create, didn't exist before, to make this product work. And the first is around proactivity and the second is around context. You don't need to approach LEQ and remember a word or a command. She senses you around her, and she'll start talking to you. And she does that based on goals. She helps people achieve their goals and to achieve better wellness, better health, and just more engagement. Hard following, by the way, Henry and Ted, because they're doing amazing things. We do a little bit of cognitive training in this product as well, about 5 times a week on average, which isn't bad. But maybe we should integrate Henry's stuff in the product, and a lot of fun as well.
But you bring Ted in there too. You can have one shaped like a pet.
Yeah, for sure. I fully agree with what Ted said about joy and happiness, and we try to do our part there as well. And with a product like this, it has so much expectations from the people, and getting engagement to be sustained over months and years. We have some users that have the product for 3 years now. One of them is 96 years old, by the way, and use them all the time. So to your question about the technology. So basically, we need to figure out, to do this well, when is the right time to interact with a person and what to talk to them about, which is relevant to them, will motivate them, and will also meet their emotional needs for companionship and their wellness and engagement needs. And that's tough to do. It's tough for us to do when we're talking to each other, right? When's the right time to interject? It's very hard for a machine to do. So there are lots of algorithms around that, what we call availability, sensing if somebody is emotionally available to be interrupted, choosing which of the goals to promote and how to phrase them in a way that's relevant to the individual. But the context is kind of the next level up. So LEQ doesn't just say good morning to you. She'll say, hey, Mary, good morning. How did you sleep today? Because last night you didn't sleep well, and we did some mindfulness before you went to sleep. Was it helpful? Or LEQ might ask you how you're feeling, and you might share you're feeling pain. So she'll ask you some questions to understand if how you're doing and if you should maybe talk to a doctor and alert your family. But that thing that you shared is now going to change your behavior the rest of the day. She's not going to say, oh, I'm so sorry you feel pain, and then a second later say, how about we do some physical exercise? No, you're in pain, right? She's going to give you comfort. She's going to follow up throughout the day. She's going to recommend things. If she's going to recommend physical exercise, she'll take the fact that you're feeling pain in your shoulder into account in her recommendation, and maybe say, maybe you're up to it. Maybe you can do some things just on the chair. So that context, understanding that people go through episodes, or they might have chronic illnesses or chronic pain that's with them for a long time, understanding the difference between them and really trying to be there and reflect that and be empathetic is unbelievably hard to do for a technology product. It's incredibly hard to do. I think we did a pretty good job. And of course, we're getting better every 2 weeks, another software update, and we're just getting better and better at this.
So for all the sons and daughters looking for a Mother's Day gift, how does someone find an LEQ, and how much does it cost?
Yeah, so people are surprised by the cost. When they hear about all the technology and kind of the science fiction aspects of this, they think it will cost tens of thousands of dollars. LEQ costs $30 a month with an initial $250. The reason is we decided to pair wellness coaches into the program. We found that when we pair a wellness coach into the program, as we're also trying to do behavior change, it really, really helps for people to understand what the product can do and to configure the goals of the system based on the individual needs and their ability. So we have a few sessions like that. We also help track their vital signs depending on their condition, right? Blood pressure, SpO2, weight, glucose, heart rate. So the wellness coach is a great addition, and that's why we also charge the initial fee, but it's just $30 a month, and you can get it on leq.com. Our team, I'm really proud of them since we just launched. They're shipping same day. It will arrive 2 or 3 days later. So if you hustle, it can be there by Mother's Day. And if you use coupon code IKnowDor, all in caps, you'll get a discount.
Terrific. Well, that's great. Congratulations.
I'm going online right now. I didn't know I got a discount code. I'm excited.
All caps, no spaces, Dad.
All right. I know Dor.
That's DOR, right?
DOR, yeah.
Congratulations on all the innovations, Dor. Really terrific. Henry, let's turn back to you for more about BrainHQ. Now, I read an article that was tied into Mother's Day, and you commented about the effects of motherhood on the brain and the changes that take place. And I guess mommy brain is not a myth.
Well, sure, but mommy brain isn't a bad thing either. So
no, I wasn't.
No, you weren't. But I think sometimes when people hear that phrase, they don't mean the nicest thing by it. When a woman has a baby, the brain, as we talked about, it reorganizes itself in response to what we do in the world around us. And of course, going through the process of first creating a baby inside of you, and then birthing the baby, and then caring for that baby when it's first born, that is an incredible change in the environment of the new mom. And that incredible change, unsurprisingly, drives enormous rewiring connections in the mom's brain. And, it kind of has to. If you think about, if you're a parent and you think about the love that you have for your child, as a brain scientist, you sort of have to look at that and say, well, your brain went from a state of not particularly loving a baby, right? I mean, babies are nice. You like to play with them, but, to a stage of truly having that bond and attachment. And so as a neuroscientist, we can ask, well, what got rewired in the brain? Obviously, something changed in the brain. And in fact, we now know that pregnancy and birth in particular, and then those initial bonding moments, release this chemical, it's neurochemical called oxytocin, which actually quite literally rewires how the brain works in such a way as to build that affiliation bond. And of course it has to, because moms need to take care of babies, right? Babies come out and they're quite useless. They really can't look after themselves in any way, shape, or form. So brain plasticity in that way is required for the survival of our species. Now, sometimes people go on to say, well, gosh, mommy brain, right? The mom comes back to work and, she's maybe a little frazzled. Maybe she feels like she can't multitask as well. And on the one hand, that might be true, right? You are now responsible for the care and the well-being of this infant. Might not be too surprising that all of the extra brain capacity you used to have to keep up with everything else at work, some of that is quite correctly, aimed at that developing infant as well. And, the only thing you're hearing probably in my response a little bit, Fred, is, I just really think that we as a society, we need to do a lot more to allow new moms and new dads, but maybe we'll come back to this for Father's Day. We need to do a lot more to help new moms with all the responsibilities they have for a new baby, while continuing to do things like, work outside the home if they so choose or participate in other things. So I'd like to think of mommy brain as a reallocation of the ample resources of a woman's brain to now include looking after this new infant, and something, of course, that's really quite valuable as a result.
My wife and I are up to 6 grandchildren now. We have 3 children of our own. Thank you. But I was going to say that, I like to sit back and observe. I saw it with the first, and then I've watched it with the next 2 when they became parents.
Yeah.
Both our children and their spouses, the changes that take place pretty rapidly. They become different people almost, and it's fun to see.
They do. And you are watching brain plasticity in action, right? You're watching an incredibly important change in environment, rewire a person's brain, and then you're watching them behave differently as a result. And like you say, one step outside. I'm not a grandparent myself at this point, but I can only imagine what it's like to watch someone go through that as the next generation. Very exciting.
The website is BrainHQ.com. And if you act fast, I saw on your site, there's a 2-for-1 Mother's Day special offer on subscriptions there. People got to move.
That's exactly right. If you're not a BrainHQ user, this is a great week to get BrainHQ for yourself and your mom. It's actually kind of a fun activity to go back and forth on. Hey, good for you and good for your mom as well. So a wonderful Mother's Day gift.
Yes, congratulations, Henry. And of course, I echo those remarks on how magical it is to watch your adult children become parents. And I'm so grateful for the wonderful mother my daughter-in-law is too. You're really making a difference. And so, Ted, tell us what's new and what's on the horizon. I am tickled pink with this.
He's been hinting at it.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
First kept secret of the day so far is, so we've got here's the Walker Squawker, which, as I said, was designed and invented by Rita Maloney, who was forgetting her walker, as I said. And she said, wouldn't it be great if I had something? So there's 2 modes. So there's so the sounds, we have the cardinal here, and then we have the bluebird here, and the sounds are specific to each species, because we found that bird people are very specific about their sounds. And so it'll respond to my sound, it'll respond to changes in light, and then you can also pet it here and touch it, and so it'll talk back to you and have a fun little sort of interaction. And then the mode, it has a universal walker mount, and when it goes on the walker, it goes on a different mode where it starts to sing songs. So, and as it sings songs, and as you walk more, I'm going to stop the singing for a minute, but as you walk more, it unlocks more songs. So each bird comes with a certain number of songs, and as you walk, it unlocks more. So really trying to incentivize, healthy, active movement. It has this little, if it doesn't sense movement, I'll try and get it to go again. It'll go into this little "Don't Forget Me" that it sings, but I don't think my hand's still enough to get it to stop. But it's just going to sing now. So okay, on the desk it would stop, but my hand's moving, so it's sensing movement. And so it has this little chirp that as you stop and the walker stops, maybe you're moving away from it, it does this little "Don't forget me," and it's a chirp. It's actually not, but it sounds like that. And I now speak bird apparently because I'm hearing all that. But the other thing that I noticed is that as I was watching the Masters tournament this year and heard all the bird sounds in the background, I could now identify cardinals and bluebirds. So anyway, that's the Walker Squawker. We're super excited about it. It's coming out and will be available in late June, early July. And so, I'm going to visit Rita tomorrow and talk to her. We're going to do a little interview session that we'll probably share some of at your event. So
just a wonderful story. People can find you with the products that are out now on Amazon or at joyforall.com. Thank you, Ted, for the impact that you're having, and congratulations on the innovations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's great.
What a great group of companies. What a great group of entrepreneurs, and such meaningful gifts for Mother's Day. Innovative and important, that can help with happiness, comfort, and health, all three.
And there's so much tech that can be helpful to moms, younger or older. Mary, I know you recently joined the Apple Watch crowd.
You know, I'm up to 8,500 steps a day. I'm very proud of that. And so I'm 73. This is the new attitude, you know, and all my friends are doing the same thing. So we really embrace the wellness perspective here.
I've known people who strap them on their dogs to cheat, but I know Mary does not do that.
You wouldn't get far if you strapped it on our dog, Fred.
The current crop of robotic vacuums from companies like iRobot and Roborock are really amazing too. We're talking about some other gift ideas. They've added so much navigation and intelligence, kind of like a self-driving car that goes around your house cleaning up. For communicating, you can check out the Google Nest Hub Max, the Meta Portal Go that runs on a battery. You can take it around the house, or the Echo Show from Amazon. And the Amazon Glow is fun for remote play with grandchildren. I've checked that out too. Lots of fun.
And there's a lot of new digital health technology, including a lot of hearing devices that are more affordable than ever and also look better.
You know, they can be very worthwhile. I've also liked the Zvox voice clarifying sound bar. Makes a big difference when you're watching TV. And for clarifying and restoring photos, don't forget to try out Vivid Pics Restore from our sponsor. There's a free trial at vivid-pics.com. We want to thank our guests once again from Intuition Robotics, Posit Science, and Ageless Innovation. Have a wonderful Mother's Day, Mary. For our viewers, we're showing some of the flowers from your garden.
Happy Mother's Day, Mary.
Happy Mother's Day, Mary.
Guys, and of course, I have a granddaughter, so that's even more thrilling too, right? Yeah, it's great to spend time with everyone. And we, Ted, all we do is play. You know, I have a tea party of 3:30 today. Thank you for your important work and for being part of our work. Yeah.
And we wish the same to all of the moms and grandmoms out there. And thanks for spending time with us, all of you in the audience. Remember, you can find more, including our new What's Next Longevity Deal Talk at maryfurlong.com/podcast. And look on the website for the latest on the upcoming What's Next Longevity Venture Summit.